Are we ready to start, guys? Okay. Okay. Looks like we have quorum. So it is 4:31 p.m. and I call this meeting of the Annual Report Committee to order at 4:31 p.m. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is to um, approve the minutes from the January 7th meeting. And is there a motion to, okay, so, so moved, seconded by Chair Small and Commissioner Blaze. Thank you. Okay, the motion passes. Oh, sorry. Yes, all in favor? Aye.
You got it.
The motion passes. Thank you so much. Okay, then we'll start with the briefings. We're going to talk today about the commission's goals and objectives and our tracking and reporting system that I will say the staff has been great at putting together. Thank you, guys. And when we have gone from having, I think a couple of years ago, somewhere like 15 goals, and we've digested it down to 5 goals, 5 very manageable, measurable goals. And the one thing that we do want to do is measure these goals. And how do we do that, and how do we track our goals? So Glenn has done a wonderful job, and he's going to present a plan of our goal tracking and measurement. So
Will do.
yes.
Thank you so much. So with Drea, actually, was an incredible help in this process as well to create this Microsoft form. So there's a couple of things that we have sort of coming down the pike. Is that the right way to say it? Okay, great. One is this is our first year where we had sort of measurable metrics related to the commission's goals for each other and so or for themselves, right?
Mhm.
And so we wanted a way to capture that with also the perspective of this not being a report card per se for any individual commissioner, but rather a means of just sharing what you are doing, what's going on. And so we've sort of broadened this out, and we'll look at the form itself in a minute and get your feedback and input and adjust as we can or should. And the other part of this too is we're not ready just yet, but just like a little teaser is we're really trying to create a SharePoint commission site where all of your information will live. So there's not this back and forth of emails. Where did that email go? Where are my materials? All this kind of stuff. And so as a part of all of this, we want to be able to also say, look, share upcoming events and things like that. So we'll get to that in a second. That's still upcoming. We're not sharing that today, but just if you can think about this also sort of integrating into a larger plan that we have. Also, again, thank you, Drea, for starting to build that process out. Amazing. So just as a reminder, we had 5 goals, like Chair Bedell said. Funding programs and cultural events, and that's just going to OAC sponsored, supported programs. And so we have a tracker for that. Access to facilities and resources, sort of new spaces or venues that we may not be aware of, and how we might be able to continue to compile a list of space to attach to our guidelines as an appendix for people to reach out to, especially those in our more residential neighborhoods. We have communication and collaboration, and that's, of course, our commissioners continuing to stay regularly engaged with their city council member. Committee participation and commission members attending a committee that they're not already serving or assigned to, just as a means of making sure that everyone is sort of more informed on what's going on in general. And then organization, liaison, and engagement. This is tied to the commission liaison reports. And so this is just that metric of 4 liaison reports per assigned organization throughout the fiscal year, right? And so we say quarterly basis. We'll see how all of that goes, right? I know that we're halfway through the year and there might be some catch up. And so we'll talk about some options so it's not so labor intensive to get this information to us. But this is sort of where we're at. And so we wanted to create a one-stop shop form for commissioners to share all of these things. So what's next? All right, great. Sharing reporting. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're going to be calling it, sharing. Let us
Good.
know. Hey, you want to report out on an event you went to? Awesome, right? It's all this context, right? So we don't want this to feel like a chore. We don't want this to feel like an assignment, and we certainly don't want this to feel punitive if something is or is not submitted or anything like that.
And also, we don't want it to feel like busy work. We didn't want to create that feeling either. It is really sharing and learning. I think sharing and learning are the two things.
Exactly. And so as a part of that and that feedback that we received, we wanted to provide more than just someone reporting out on a particular goal. So we have, of course, our goals and objectives, liaison reports, which are part of that. So no longer that PDF that's really kind of tricky to fill out and getting that to us and all of that kind of stuff. It's all living here, which is really great, I think. And then upcoming events, announcements, recognitions, those things that happen so often in commission. If there's something that we can compile for a commission meeting or send out on a weekly basis or whatever that looks like to help improve our communication. So things, we don't have to wait the month before someone's aware of anything. Or having that sort of calendar on that SharePoint site, like I mentioned, where we're able to put these things in so you can go see what's going on. It's also accessible via your phone, which is also really nice. Submission will allow OAC staff to share information by email or through that SharePoint site, communicate information to commission meetings, and provide prox reports to this committee, not necessarily trying to call people out. It's just a means of just collectively gathering that information and seeing how effective these particular goals are or the metrics that we set to help inform our goal creation process for next year, right?
And we may also realize we need to change some of our goals so we can, it again allows us to measure and see what's really realistic and what does not work and what does work.
Because we know the reality is that you're all out constantly, right? And so we want to make sure that we're able to reflect the work that you're already doing, whether if it meets a goal or not, right?
Sure.
And that's the idea.
Hello, Anne. Commissioner Stachel.
Okay. Any questions before we move on? I think the next part is to look at the form itself. Is that right? Yeah.
Okay, Glenn, I do have a question. Will everybody, even if they don't have Microsoft, can they use SharePoint? Or is it required to have Microsoft on your computer?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
This will be anyone with the link can access it. It'll be just sort of like a web form, right? Any sort of
Okay.
form it'll open in a browser, you'll fill it out and submit.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Stachel, I'll have the chat feature open. So if you want to communicate anything, I know you're in a space that you're unable to speak. I'll be looking at the chat if you just want to type it in. Just wanted to let you know in case you were able to communicate or ask any questions.
Chair, I
Commissioner
have a
Valentin.
question. Yes, thank
Yes,
you.
Commissioner Valentin.
Oops. How do we intend to carry this information forward to the larger committee meeting at some point, the next one? I'm just curious about that timeline once we review. Is that the intention?
That is the intention, correct?
Okay, thank you.
We will look at that in our timeline in a little bit as to when we think that's the most appropriate.
Yes.
Thanks.
Great. All right. So we're going to share the form so everyone can see it. A little preview, a little draft. Hopefully it's no, because we just still in draft form, but we'll walk through. And it didn't really get finished until this afternoon. So there's so much going on.
That's because this called real loss.
This is Clyde. I'm just wondering, was there a pause or was there a screen share happening?
We're working on some tech to share the screen with you guys so you can see
Okay.
the prototype that's been created. And it's really cool. You're going to love it when you see it.
Thank you.
So hang in there. Thank you for your patience.
I thought
We're getting
maybe I
there. We're
froze, but
close.
thank you.
No, we look frozen, don't we? We're not frozen. We're in. He's. Oh, thank you. We're anticipating. Oh, so they're in the. So they're pulling up the form that's. So just give us a few minutes. So thank you. I think Commissioner Chair to sing us a song. He's our musician.
I do have a comment, or maybe a question, maybe not, Glenn. As we look at these forms, we do have an opportunity to kind of meet I guess, an obligation to inform as to how the money is being spent on the funds. I mean, that's kind of the liaison report, one of the goals of it. And so is there opportunity for that? Just to comment, like whatever, if we're reporting on an event that we attended and we're the liaison for that organization, just to kind of give confidence that, the budget funds are being spent appropriately.
Yeah, so almost like sort of
Yes.
auditing the fact that what we're paying for is actually happening.
Yes.
It's actually really wonderful. And yes, this will help us in that vein, and it'll help us in twofold. One, for those COP liaison reports, but then also the opportunity to submit an event that you went to
Yes.
as one of those other goals, but then also because so often we hear in our commission meetings things that happen that everyone just raved about, right? And so we'll look at that particular form as well. So it's both.
Yes.
I guess, and. All right. Are we good? Everyone can see the screen now? Are you able to make it a little bit like, yeah, okay, great. All right. It's the 25-26 Arts and Culture Advisory Commission Sharing and Reporting Forum. You'll be able to share things like upcoming events you would like to highlight to your fellow commissioners, recognitions or announcements, and then any of those goals and objectives, including your commissioner liaison reports, right, as one of those goals. And that's where that form lives. So when you submit this form, here's the caveat, right? It's one form per entry, right? So if you have a couple of things to do, you'll go through and you'll re-enter. That is really more of like a data cleanliness thing, because every time we get one, we'll see those different line items and it'll help us analyze that data a little bit better. Happy to take that feedback if we find that is a little too cumbersome or tedious. But I just want to point that out. So let's scroll down. Our first page is just who you are as commissioner. So you'll type your name. You'll select your district or place, which is just a drop down, and that's either chair, at large, or whatever district, whichever district you are representing. And then what would you like to share or report on? An upcoming event, a recognition or announcement, or a commission goal or objective? So let's talk about upcoming events. Anything about this before we move on, actually?
If you want to do all three, how do you do it?
So that's where you would go and you would resubmit a new form.
So is it a new form every time?
Every time.
However, it's very fast and it really is kind of a push of the button each time. It's not laborsome. So it sounds like it might be, but it's really a very quick form.
This is amazing.
Great.
This is fantastic.
Wonderful. So this will only take you to what you've selected. You're not going to have to go to any form and be like, oh, not this one, next. But this should take you to just an upcoming event that you would like to report out on. Great. Enter the name, date, and provide any other event details, venue location, name, address. We didn't want to have too many fields in here, but the ones that we really need, right, are the event name, the event date, and then to allow you to enter whatever details that you might. So if you scroll down a little bit, that's what that looks like.
Can we go back a couple of screens?
Yes, we
I wanna
can.
see the choices one more time. So upcoming event, recognition, announcement. So that would be, I'm sorry. So upcoming event, recognition and announcement. I guess that's where we would probably comment on something that we attended.
Not necessarily. The attended part would be one of your goals. So it sounds like we need to provide a little bit more clarity on what those are meant for.
Okay.
Great.
Like say, for instance, like this evening, I plan on going to the Salmons.
Yeah, that would be under one of your goals and objectives, to go to an OAC sort of sponsored or supported event.
And I guess I'm a little unclear as to giving a review on something that you attended. How does that fit a goal?
Why don't we
Tell-
why don't we look at these goals real quick so we can see, because I think that'll help put the full thing into context, and
Yes.
then we'll understand what clarity needs to happen based off of your questions
Oh,
right now.
okay.
But we do need clarity at the beginning, so
At the beginning.
that's a very good point. So,
Great.
yeah. Any other feedback on out in TV land?
So can we move on to recognition announcement and see what that is?
It's just detail. It's just a form for you to fill out details. These are the things where, we recognized Commissioner Hornbuckle's wife for the award that she won, right? Things like that, yeah. So things aren't forgotten essentially. And so if you would like to a shout out, do something like that, we can put these things together and make sure that they're there as a memo or as just supplemental information at commission meetings. We can send those things out. So it's sort of that kind of intent.
And it'd be like maybe Commissioner Nugent when he was the Taco Silver Cup recipient. That would be that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then you would hit submit. So go ahead and hit submit real quick. And it just takes you to the end of the form. Submit another response and you can start over. Enter your commissioner information again. And then if we wanted to do our goals, so let's look at a commission goal or objective. And this is where all those goals are listed out and those metrics of each, right? That we discussed a little bit ago. And so goal number one are those funding programs in cultural engagements. So if you had gone to something that was OAC supported, or right, whether if it's at a cultural center, a funding program, COP, Arts Activate, any of that, that's where you would input that. So you'll select which goal you would like to report out on. So let's look at goal one. Here we have the name of the event attended, the date of the event, location, and then if it was at a cultural center, if it was a public art dedication, for instance, or another OAC supported event, if it's other and you just don't know, we can always try to find out. And if it wasn't OAC supported, we can let you know. And then any other details or information you'd like to share, how great it was. Oh, this thing was kind of weird, or the AC wasn't working, whatever it was, right? Those kinds of things. Usually it's kudos for those organizations or artists.
But I think it's also an opportunity to say their computer system was down or there were some issues in registration. So we can provide feedback to those organizations as well. Don't you think that's
Absolutely.
helpful? Because if they hear it coming from the commissioners, they're going to want to fix whatever problem they've got.
So if you want to do 2 goals, then you have to go back and start over.
Yes.
I would really like to see it so that you could say if you want to do these 3 and you would finish that and it would automatically flip you back.
Okay.
So that you didn't have to go through the whole thing all over again.
Okay.
You should sign in your name one time and then you can go to each one without having to go through and do the whole thing all over again.
We will check to see what that
Okay.
capability is.
I think that makes sense if we're in one category.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
Andre, that's
Yeah, we'll see
We'll
what
see.
that looks like.
Agree. That makes
we
sense
will
to
have
me
some
too.
limitations, but yes. Commissioner Henderson, did you have your hand up?
I was agreeing that I think that would make sense too.
Okay.
Thank you for your feedback. Anything else? Because you guys are the first to see this and it's still a prototype and we're kind of fleshing it out at this point. And when we present it to to all the commissioners, we want it to be pretty perfect.
So in this
Yeah.
case, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
In this case, I would like to see, you're gonna pick on goal 1 3 and 5.
Okay.
Okay, so you click 1, 3, and 5. So it starts, and so then something would pop up that says goal 1, and it would have all this stuff.
Got it.
And instead of submitting there, it would go to goal 2.
Mhm.
And then you would fill that out, or 3, or whatever it was, and then goal 5, and then it would submit all 3 of them.
Great. And that part I know is doable. We can definitely do that. What we'll need to find out is if you had 2 events that you wanted to, for 2, like you had 2 for
2 for goal 1.
goal 1.
Right.
I need to figure that part out.
Yes.
That might be a little tricky. So it might be that we'll see what we can do.
See what, yeah.
And not getting ahead of anything, hopefully, but the liaison reports are going to be like this too.
Yes. So if you just click back, liaison reports are number 5, organization liaison engagement. And so it's literally the exact same information that's
Okay.
in that PDF.
So could we like use language that we, like rather than adopting new language for it, can we call it that?
Yep.
I think that would be fantastic.
And I wonder, in the spirit of not making this feel like we're having to submit these things as a report card, essentially, if there might be another way to present the information that it's not based off of goals, but rather, do you want to tell us about an event you went to? Do you want us to tell us about, do you see where I'm going with this? Instead of it being like, great, do you want to submit a goal? Tell me what that goal is. It's like, oh, did you want to tell me about an event that you went to? Awesome, right? And so we still get the same information that we need to, that apply to these goals, but it's not, which goal are you talking about? You see what I'm saying?
Totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But it's kind of important that we don't miss the fact that we are kind of obligated to report back that we know what's going on with the funding.
Got it.
That's kind of the overriding mission of those liaison
Yes.
reports.
Wonderful. So yeah, we'll stick to current language and not for clarity. That makes total sense. Let's go back. So we looked at 1 and 5. Let's look at access to facilities and resources. This is name of location, the address, and contact information. That's it.
So back up to see what that goal again is. Number 2 is, this is where we're finding.
Yes, if you have a space,
This is
if you'd
where we're
like to.
finding another.
Yeah.
This is space.
Facility. Got it.
Great. Trying to keep it to just the bare essentials of what we would need to proceed forward or to, capture.
Do you guys feel like it's enough?
This is fantastic.
Great.
I'm pretty jazzed about it.
I agree all around, and I'm already curious as to sort of like what the output is and like how does the data look on the other end of this web-based tool for you all in terms of how we track it, because that's gonna also, I think, inform subsequent, ideally, annual reports, right? Because you'll have meaningful data. I think on this page, maybe a website link or something to the
Fabulous.
venue as well.
Excellent. Thank you.
Love that. All right.
And once again, is all of this information going to be public, or is it stored someplace for staff to have access, or only staff to have access?
So the idea is, so with the re-entering your name and everything like that, we would get this Excel document that we're able to export to that then could feed into other reports that we would want, right? So whether if it's a dashboard on the SharePoint site to say like, here's how many events we've been going to or whatever, not like you've been meeting your goals, but things like that to celebrate the work of the commission or to report out to this body as to the progress towards those goals. So it would give us.
So it's a staff only submission.
Yes, yeah, this isn't going out
It's not like, okay.
until we are sharing it to the commission as a whole for, if it is liaison
Right.
reports that we want to send out for the next meeting or upcoming events and things like that.
In the form of a summary.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Did you have a vision of another way to communicate that information?
No, I was hoping that it is exactly what you're saying that it is.
Yeah. None of this is meant to call out any commissioners individually or specifically. It's all meant to look at the work of the group as a whole and to see the progress on the goals that are there to then inform how this body would like to proceed for the next annual report. All right. We'll go back. Let's look at goal 3. This is the, engaging with your council member, the name of your council member, the date of your meeting, and any major reports that you'd like to give. That's it. Back.
Man, once again, this is so amazing. So we can, Sylvia will be able to report these developments at the upcoming commission meeting.
Maybe not for April, because I think I'm not sure we're going to be ready for the April commission meeting,
Oh, okay.
but potentially May or June.
Yeah, midsummer for sure.
Yeah.
And on the meeting with your city council person representative, we can had an email conversation, had a text conversation, things like that as well. I think that you don't have to have a lunch meeting or a coffee meeting. It can be just engagement.
Committee participation. Now, this one is nice for people to fill out, but again, also we track this in general as a part of our minutes, so we know who's coming to which meetings in general. But if you wanted to share and report out specifically, we also have the option to not include it, because we do track all of this as a part of our meetings. So if we want to not include it, we don't have to. This one specifically and in particular.
Thoughts, discussions?
Doesn't hurt anything.
No, I don't think so.
It's not hard. There's not a lot of information. I mean, it may not be necessary, but it also doesn't take much time.
Mhm.
So,
I'm kind
I
of
think
in
as a pilot, I'm sorry, Chelsea.
well, go ahead, Commissioner Valentine.
I was gonna say that the data will tell you whether or not this is useful moving into, 26, 27. Like if you're right, we're tracking this already. But if this particular column is empty, by the end of the year, it tells you whether or not it's useful.
So fair.
But there's also a part of me, when in doubt, leave it out if we don't need to have it. Is that, if we're already tracking that and you're doing that internally, and we know as commissioners what we're going to, what committees we're meeting informally or officially on or not on, maybe we don't need to do that. That's kind of, it just seems like an extra, but give me your logic on.
Yeah, and maybe depending on now that we've been discussing this and I've been rethinking that we structure this differently, like instead of asking, these sort of very specific things like, hey, do you want to report out on an event? Right, and having different prompting questions to then lead you to another one, then this, in that specific situation, then no, we probably wouldn't ask like, hey, did you attend a meeting? Because we would know, right? This is this line of if-thens calls for us to list out all 5 goals. But if we sort of structure this in a different prompting way, it may not.
yeah, I would like to see something like you finish out whatever structure you have.
Mhm.
You're finishing out one of these things. And at the end of that, would you like to do another? And then you say yes, and you do another.
Okay.
Something like that, so that it just goes until, are
Until
you
you're
done?
done.
If you're done, you submit.
Great.
I'm not a programmer.
No, I agree. That is definitely a
Yeah.
much more user-friendly way of going about it.
Yeah. Often when I am, even if you're filling that out and you've been to a committee meeting, you got to go back and look and what was the date on that? I can't remember the committee meeting date. So that's one of the things. Hello. So I don't know if that's necessary.
Yeah,
We'll think about that.
indeed. All right, well, that's it. That's the form. That's everything, right? So, the thinking about upcoming events you want to make sure everyone knows about, even if they're not OAC supported, but Commissioner Bragalone had that event coming up, right? Things like that to engage with your fellow commissioners on that you would like to invite them to, and things like that.
So just for confirmation, the one thing that we looked at where we had the opportunity to drop in the liaison participation, that will be the new liaison report?
Yes, and so we'll
So-
change that language to make sure it's very, very
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. I think that's fantastic. Man, this is
Great.
Glenn and the whole staff.
Yes.
You know, This is
Yeah.
wonderful. This is wonderful. This
Thanks,
is
Dre.
quite a leap forward.
It is a tool that we've not had before,
Yes.
and we'll be able to collect data that we have not really, it's been out there.
Yes, agreed.
But not, now it's going to be
Yeah.
able to report and share. And I think for the new commissioners, it's going to be very helpful, as well as the old commissioners, the existing commissioners. So yes.
It is so simple and so easy and so comprehensive. There's little excuse to not do it.
I agree.
I agree.
And it helps us track that. And again, if nothing else, in the context of this committee, helps inform you all as to how you want to
Yeah.
proceed with the goals for next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. The big part of it, again, like I said, we're halfway through the year. By the time this makes it to commission, we'll be a little bit further into the year. So we'll need to figure out how we handle that initial like data dump, if you will, of things. And so that might be just more manual on our part. Hey, send us an email with all the things you would like to share with us, and we will input that ourselves.
So as much as possible, if we could incorporate those, the objective responses, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? That way, when you look up and you'll go, okay, we've got X amount of number 4s or X amount of
Yes.
number 3s, then it makes it really easy to
Mhm.
track productivity.
Yeah.
That's
Really
awesome.
neat.
Man, whoever out of all of y'all in this brain trust, it is fantastic.
Group effort. Thank you so much.
Yes.
We are among geniuses, I will say. Yes, we are. Yes.
That might be a little heavy, but still, I really appreciate that. Oh, there is a genius anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Commissioner Blaze t-shirt says there's a genius in everyone. I love it. Perfect. You guys all need a shirt.
That is a high bar. So, all right. So we'll keep sort of hacking away this and trying to figure out a more user-friendly way. Again, all in the effort of, we want you to want to fill out something. Because there's so many times where someone's like, oh, I have something to say. Great, tell me. And so there is a mobile version of this, right? Where like, if you just want to open it up on your browser on your phone, it's very mobile friendly.
Even better.
So if you're at your event, the one thing I will say that we'll still look into, which is kind of a bummer, is if you have an event and you had a flyer for it, the uploading feature, because this is open to anyone who has the link and it's not just within our network, that upload feature does not function because safety and whatever, security, whatever.
Question. So when you say open to everyone, I was thinking it's only open to commissioners.
You're the only ones that we'll give the link to.
Oh, okay.
But unless everyone, and please, Commissioner Blaze, I'll understand what you're about to look at me and I can tell. Unless everyone wanted to use their City of Dallas email, then we could do it, but we're not there. But if they are, they could. But because not everyone would be able to use it in the same fashion, I don't want to have some people have access to some features and others not.
So on a side note, can we get another city email update tech session?
Yes, so if you're interested in using your city email, let me know. I have instructions from IT on how to set it up.
Okay.
Some of our commissioners are using their city emails exclusively. So it can be done. So but I also don't want to force it. If someone's like, you know what, this is too much for me, I'd rather use this other email, we can work with that. But if you are personally interested, let me know. I can send you that information and give you the number to call IT. But I have heard that it can sometimes be a little bit of a process.
It takes a
Oh.
long time.
But it has worked. We do have some commissioners that use it and enjoy it, so
I did.
it's able.
But every time something changes, you got to start all over.
Okay.
Yes, but I can send it if you're interested. Are you interested, Chair Small?
Yes.
I will send you that information.
Okay, thank you.
I'm interested as well, too.
And my council member wants me to go back to it as well, so.
So do you feel like it's more secure for the SharePoint itself to be on?
So the ideal situation would be that everyone conducting city business is using their dallas.gov email. I know, sorry.
Commissioner Valentine.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of points in this regard. I tend to lean towards security, and even in the most basic and simplest ways. So, Glenn, if you're saying that the link is just being made public by you on the back end so that it's easy for us to access it, that's kind. However, my suggestion for the committee would be to consider an email password, right? And if it's synced
Mhm.
up, I do not, need another email address, right? I'll just say that for the record. And if I need to use my city email address to access this, so that there's some level of security, additional security, then I think that would make sense.
Okay, noted.
So are we saying we're going to,
We're going to see the feasibility of that and see if
Okay.
there's a training or a meeting that we can
Okay.
set up with IT to help everyone all at once, everywhere.
that would be great. Thank you, Commissioner. That's good feedback.
All right.
Any other comments on the new form? Questions? We don't want it to feel like homework. So that's the main thing. We don't want it to feel like homework or required reading. We want it to be just fun information that we're sharing and learning with each other.
That's right.
So, okay.
Again, if we do have all those emails, then we can add the upload function, which means that if you're at an event and you want to upload photos that you've taken at an event, you could also do that, which would be really, really cool.
I have a comment from Commissioner Stodgill in the comments
Yes.
that I wanted to read to you guys, and I believe it was about the tracking of committees, like when they attend a committee. She said, if you are tracking that, then I would prefer you leave it out. Sorry that I'm getting it a little bit too late, but I did want to make sure that you guys note that Commissioner Stodgill is providing her feedback.
I lean in that direction as well. Thank you.
Right. Great. Thanks. It gives us some work.
Guys, I mean, what? Big commissioners really love this, and years down the road, we're gonna make without this. I mean, we're gonna look back and go, so this is really a pivotal time in it. I'm not going, so because I'm just gonna.
Trend-setting, groundbreaking.
Oh gosh, I think my mic was off. So I was saying this is no April Fool's. This is really exciting, and we're grateful to have the expertise of these guys putting this together. We're going to look back in 5 years and go, wow, how did we function without this? And that's going to be great. So thank you so much. So I think the next thing, the calendar, the annual report calendar. So we'll take a look at that. You've got that pulled up.
There's a couple things that might be a little wonky on here as I've been looking at this again today, but since we're starting, well, not really starting, we're continuing through the year as opposed to a longer pause. It gives us an option and an opportunity to sort of get ahead of the game a little bit. So yes, we've been talking about our goal planning and our goal tracking and reporting. So we'll just look at what the rest of this year looks like to report out on this current fiscal year's annual report and what that looks like all the way through January, February of next year. So today we have our meeting about talking about our tracking and reporting and our timeline. April 16 for the commission meeting, that doesn't seem like we are going to be ready to have these kind of materials. So we can ignore that April 16 commission meeting sort of line item. Then the annual report committee meeting, this one in particular for June. So I believe it was the will of the chair to meet every other month instead of every month.
Correct.
Okay, great. So that takes us to June. And so based off of your availability notes, Chair Bedell, I believe we need to make sort of a soft decision on our June date. So typically this committee meets the second Wednesday of every month. In June, I believe that posed a scheduling
Yes.
challenge with you.
We have some travel things. So I'm looking at the 18th as
So-
opposed to the 16th.
Now that I look at the 18th, I believe that's an actual commission date.
Oh, that is, that would
So
be, okay.
the 16th, if you would like to pose that as an option.
I'm going to be out of the country.
Oh, on the
Yeah,
16th.
mhm.
Oh, I thought the 16th did
I know.
work.
I thought I was going to be back, but I'm not.
Well, so if that's the case, the second Wednesday would be June 10th, and we can have you assign a, what is it called, Adriana?
Representative?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was complicated there.
A proxy, maybe?
Yes,
Is
to
that
act
the
as
word?
chair for that meeting.
Okay, okay, we'll do that. Okay, thank you.
So we'll change that to June 10 then. And we'll send out this calendar to everyone. At that meeting, we'll sort of shore up our form, and we'll look at that again. And then mayhaps then in the commission meeting in June, we might be able to have that as an agenda item at the will of Chair Small. Great. All right.
Do you feel like you'll be in a position to have all that worked out by then?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think we can.
okay,
At
great.
least a first go at it.
Okay, wonderful.
We have a couple months. What's time? All right, then August will be sort of the launch of the actual cultural plan process. Oh my God. Annual report planning process. And so that's when we'll start looking at our content draft, talking about what we want in the report. This is when the calendar starts back up to look at all of that, right?
In years past, that's really when we had our first meeting. So we're way ahead of the game now.
And so what we can also do is move that up. If we want to start that process in June, so we, are a little bit ahead, we certainly can. We'll discuss.
We're already ahead.
Great.
Thank you.
Love that. Then we'll have our, that's when we start switching to monthly meetings. And so September 9 is when we'll look at timeline and content review. That's when we'll start discussing committee recommended goals for the commission to review and have that first draft completed for content for the committee to review, including those goals. We'll move through October, first review of a completed draft. That's when we'll also, I believe last year, that's when we took those goals to commission for their review and feedback. November, we continue that whole process. Second draft review, we start looking at design, confirm our December meeting. Right now, we'll have a soft hold on December 9th. Then through January, we'll continue to revise, do all of that same tedious work and all of that, and take that to commission in January for their final vote of approval to get that annual report submitted by February 1. That's our calendar.
Any questions on the calendar? We've got a few veterans on the committee and then some new folks. So one of the things I have asked the team is if we'll get hard copies of the current annual report that we just did.
Yes.
So that will be shared in, I think, the next meeting. Will it be ready from the printer by then?
We've been having some issues with our proofs, but that's the idea. That's the ideal situation, yes.
Yeah, the format was digital and not for print, so that creates a little bit. But
That is correct. So the margins were being cut off and it wasn't looking in a way that I would like to present. So we're working with the print place in order to have it look more like a booklet because it was designed for digital formats only. So we ran into a little bit of a snag, but we're working on it. It's on my list.
Okay. So we're excited to be able to present our finished product to the commission as a whole in the next couple of months.
Yes. All right, next slide. That's it.
Okay. So I don't have any updates. The update I had was talking about the annual report that will be presented to the commission. I don't know. Lynn, do you have any staff updates?
I don't believe so. So that's it for me.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, there's no further business. I call this meeting adjourned at, what time is it?
5:16.
At 5:16. We did it in 45 minutes. And Adriana, I just want to say we're excited that you're on in this last quarter, and we're going to be cheering you on the side. So we hope we have a
Yes.
few more meetings with you.
Yes, looking at the calendar, I was like, I don't know if I'll make it to that June meeting, but hopefully I do. But I leave you in wonderful hands with Drea. You're not even gonna miss me. You're gonna be like, Adriana, who? Or we don't know. We have Drea
miss you.
and Glenn. So thank you guys so much. It's been an honor.
You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. Thanks, guys. Out in TV land. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.